editorial work, so for the local magazines, some national magazines. And I do a lot of event work and publication work for Ohio State University, Kenyon College, sometimes Capital, and basically whoever wants to hire me. All right, so this is me here. This is not me here, but that's just the front of my website. So I've included the definition of photography here because I think it gets lost a lot of times when people are talking about photography, but it's actually all based on light. I mean, you can read the whole definition here, but I've italicized especially light because it's crucial to the success of photos. Light, it's a thing. Light for me is the most important player when you're looking around for pictures. So naturally, I would tell you to find the light. So I shoot a lot of events, like I said, and I think that you guys sometimes have to shoot a lot of events. And so what I try to do is spend as much time as I can in the brighter parts of that event. So sometimes, like convocations, a lot of times those are in very large halls and they're dark. But before the event, people are always mingling around outside in the front, where usually there are large windows and plenty of light. So as you can see here, light's like coming in from above, and it's all around. It's beautiful. Every photographer loves this type of situation. So if you've got that opportunity, you should find that. So this little detail here from a convocation. So this is just a window ledge. I just laid those books there for a little detail, but you can see how nice and soft and pleasing the light is there. And then down here is the same. I mean, you know, you're just being playful, finding the light, and using it in a different way here. Point of view. Basically, move around the room. Be curious. Change your point of view as often as possible. So this is an art class at Kenyon. Instructor here, I've basically just come around the back of her to get this point of view of the students all looking at her with the art still in the background. To the right here is the same scene, same instructor. Everyone's really pretty much in the same positions, but I've just come around the other side. So when you're shooting an event, you're the boss. Go wherever you want, and try to find interesting points of view, no matter where it might be. You might be disruptive for a few seconds. You know, you just be curious and try to find a new spot when you can. And then again, point of view, changing where you're standing, up or down, or trying to shoot through things and frame things differently. I shoot a million thousand lab shots. They kind of all start to look the same, so you're just trying to find a point of view that's a little different from before to help make things look a little more visually interesting. So just to make things more technically difficult, I'm going to show you a video from this guy. His name's Peter McKinnon, and he's become this crazy YouTube sensation here in the past year. And he does these really great short form videos of basically how to improve your photography and your video. And it's on YouTube, and it's free. And then I've got some resources at the end. He'll be one of them. But I kind of wanted to play this real quick for you. The volume might get loud. I'm going to have to do some screen business here, but hopefully we'll stay on track here.
Come on, guys. 5 things to instantly step up your photo game. Here we go. Let's get rolling. Let's get right into it. Number 1, angles. No more hip shots or blind fires. We're going to think about this. Angles are huge. Instead of just pulling out your phone or your camera and snapping the subject, be it an object or a person, at whatever's the easiest angle. Just take 10 extra seconds and think about where could this look cool from. Objects typically look really, really good or way better when they're taken from a waist level, so you're at the same perspective of the object, or just put a little thought into it. Maybe just move around to the left or move to the right, move to the back. Just take 10 extra seconds and think to yourself, how can I make this look better than just snapping it for the sake of just snapping it? You all know, you get home, people compare photos, and they always say, wow, yours looks a lot better than mine. Why is that? You thought about those angles. That's number one. Tip number two, shoot through something. Instead of just taking a shot, maybe dangle something in front of the lens a little bit. Maybe you're outside taking a portrait. Instead of shooting the people in the forest, maybe back into the tree a little bit so you can see those branches and leaves hanging down in front of the lens. Gives you focus, gives you nice out of focus elements, and it adds that extra to the photo that is otherwise missing if you didn't do it. Maybe shoot through the handle of a mug. Take 2 playing cards, hold them up to the lens, shoot through that. Essentially, shoot through anything. Put an object in front of the lens and just finagle your way through so you can see the subject through whatever it is that's blocking the lens. That adds a huge dynamic. It frames your shots in a really creative and interesting way. Give that one a shot. Number 3, think opposite. Let's say we're going to go do a landscape shot. We are in front of Lake Louise. Everyone is taking the same photo. If there's 100 people there, your photo might be better. It might be better lit. But for the most part, the composition of Lake Louise from those 100 people isn't going to differ very much. And this doesn't just have to do with landscape photos. It can do with, let's say you're taking a picture of a deck of cards and then you're shooting a smartphone, maybe a book, maybe a pair of boots. It doesn't matter. It could be a living room. Try to think what the most common, typical place the photo will be taken from. So everyone stands in front of the mountain here. Everyone places the deck here. Get that in your head and then completely pick it up. Think, okay, I'm going to shoot it from the back forward. I'm going to shoot it upside down. I'm going to shoot it from the left, from the right, from above. It's these little things, it's these little twists that end up producing these results. So just by taking 10 seconds ahead of time and saying to yourself, this is what everybody does right here. I mean, what is completely opposite from what everybody does? And I'm going to do that. You might surprise yourself how different shit is. Talk about lighting. Lighting is huge. If your stuff isn't lit well, A, no one can see it. B, it just looks like dead. C, there's no reason it has to look bad. Lighting scares a lot of people. People are thinking, oh, I don't know how to set up lights, but I don't own lights. Solutions are easy. I'm probably going to do an entire video on this subject itself. Just move to a window. That's it. Just stand in front of a window. If you're shooting an object, just move to a window. Find the light, essentially. If it's dark outside, maybe don't take the photo unless you're trying to go for night photography. If you're trying to take a picture of something in a restaurant and the light is poor, just wait. Just do it tomorrow. You know, if it's grainy and it looks bad and you can't figure out the light, there's probably a reason you shouldn't be taking the photo right now. Unless that's your job, number 4 of the story. We're just talking about regular people taking photos on a regular basis, and we want to up that quality. You're not going to die. There's no fire. Wait till tomorrow. Wait for golden hour. And if you don't know when golden hour is, you can Google it. There's apps to show it. You can ask Siri, hey Siri, when's golden hour? Window light is naturally diffused, especially if you're on a cloudy day. That cloud cover provides like a big giant softbox, if you will. So your photo is probably going to end up looking 100 times better, and you're going to say to yourself, damn, this actually looks incredible. You're welcome. Number 5, placing objects into the frame that help tell the story. Maybe people, maybe something, maybe different objects. Let's say we're going to take a picture of a deck of cards. We're putting it on a table. It's kind of boring by itself. So maybe we got a laptop. Now we're going to add a cell phone. Maybe we'll throw a sweater in there and a mug. Those things are just creeping into the corners, but that provides an atmosphere. The picture is much more interesting. It's not focused on just the laptop. It's not focused on the sweater. And we made that very clear by keeping those things to the edges. They're not the focus point. The deck of cards is the focus point. But we added these extra elements to just create more of a mood, more feeling, more of a story in this photograph. And it took an extra 10 seconds to just drop these things in. You'll notice that a lot of these tips, all these things are very, very basic tips, but will elevate your photography, be it with an iPhone, be it with DSLR, be it with an Instax, or whatever. Go make your photos better. Okay. Try them out. I think you're going to get some mileage out of it.
All right, so that was Peter McKinnon. I hope you guys were able to see that and hear it. I have no clue on my end, but the guy drinks a lot of coffee, got a lot of great tips. I highly recommend looking at those when you have a chance. So, continuing on your path to making better pictures, a lot of times you just have to move closer. Just take a few steps in, and a lot of times people will zoom in. Don't do that. Take steps in. Move your body. That will help you tremendously. So say you're taking a picture of this lovely grass in your backyard. I mean, that's fine, but be deliberate. Show me what you want me to see. I just want to see the grass. Fill the frame with whatever it is you're taking pictures of. Tap for exposure and focus. I think a lot of people know about this, but I also think a lot of people don't know about this. So on your cell phone, now I'm on an iPhone and I don't know much about the others, but I think this might be true for the others as well. But when you are taking a picture with your iPhone, you can tap your screen, literally tap your screen wherever you want, and it will change the exposure. So if you're taking a picture of this grass, it's reading this too bright. So I can just take my finger and tap in another spot and say, hey, I want you to expose for this area, or I want you to expose for this area. And so just tap on your phone in that area until it looks right, and then it will expose correctly. It's also the same for focus. If you want it, if it's focusing in one place, you want it to focus in another, tap where you want it to focus, and it will improve your photos tremendously. I think I teach that to somebody on every shoot I go to. I tell them to tap, and they look at me like I have 3 heads. They've never heard that before in their lives. Some people have, some people haven't. Clean your lens. These poor cell phones are in purses, they're in pockets. Kids play with them. You eat some chicken wings, you get some sauce on your lens. As you can see here, you get fingerprints all over them, and it starts to look like this, and you really see it in lights. It'll get this foggy, smudgy look to it. So just simply clean the lens, and that's the difference between with that dirty lens from that to that, just cleaning it off. It's a simple one, but it's a common one. I have to clean the cell phone lenses of deans all the time who are taking their own Instagram pictures, and they've got smears and smudges, and I have to remind them to clean the front of their lens. Edit your photos on your phone. So if you have an iPhone, you have already a built-in editing system right on your phone. It's pretty easy once you get into it a little bit. So say you've taken a picture, you're out with your friends, taking this picture, it's a little dark. In your camera roll, simply tap the edit button, and then you go to a new screen, and it's got some other symbols on it. So you want to tap, say, you think that picture's too dark. So we're going to tap the light, and you're going to come to a screen where you can toggle basically with your finger back and forth, scrolling back and forth here to make your picture darker or lighter. And so this is, I've moved to the right to make it lighter. Now maybe I want to change the color temperature a little bit. Maybe it's too warm or it's too cool. So by tapping this little thing here on the right, you can go to color, and you can see to the left here it's cooler, it's more blue. To the right it's warmer. So you can just adjust that till it looks right to your eye. There's no right or wrong answer here, whatever looks good to you. And then in the end, you know, you've made two small edits that'll take you a few seconds, and you've improved the quality of your picture tremendously. And there's a lot of little nuances in here. You can do all sorts of things with your highlights, your shadows. When you get under color, you can do saturation, you can turn it black and white, and that's all built right into your iPhone. And I'm pretty sure every phone with a camera in it's got a built-in editing system. There's also plenty of third-party systems that you can download if you're really super into it, but this is just a basic everyday thing you can use to make your photos from your phone a little bit better. Ted mentioned a lot of you shoot events. I shoot a lot of events. They're all over the place. Sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not as great. Obviously, when there's an event outside and you've got plenty of light and people are dressed up, there's action, things are going on, that's where you want to be. You want to be in the middle of the action. You want to try to communicate the action. You want to find little details, little nuances, things that people are doing, and that's really true of any event. Find the peak action and take photos. I do a lot of speakers at podiums. This on the right here, you know, a lot of those are inside. There's not a lot of action. Still, you're moving around the room. You're trying to get a million different angles. You got to be a photo ninja, basically. One of the things I like about events is that I typically don't have to talk to anybody. So that's kind of a great thing. You get to do your thing and you're looking. A good rule of thumb just to have going into any event is you want to shoot an overall of the event. So usually the client wants to see how many people were there, what the room looked like, that sort of thing. So shoot an overall and get a sense of place and set the scene, basically. You also want to try to find some sort of emotion, some sort of interaction. You know, like I said, there's not a lot of action going on at these events. People come in, they get drinks, they talk. So as a photographer, not a whole lot to find there, but so what you're trying to do is find a lot of little things. So, you know, just a little reaction between two people or that sort of thing. And then I always try to find details. Like I said, when there's not a lot going on, I kind of get bored, honestly, and I'm looking for little things to take pictures of, little details. Food is always a good one. You know, sometimes people are wearing crazy socks or they like pictures of the program, but just keep moving and keep looking for things that are interesting to you visually and try to make the most of it. Groups. A lot of groups. Of course, this is the dream group. Got some supermodels and all kinds of fancy dresses and all kinds of things going on here. Probably actors or dancers who know, like, really how to move. So this is Annie Leibovitz, who's a master at these large groups. If you look at Vanity Fair or Google Annie Leibovitz groups, you're going to find a lot of these groups. So she's really great at creating angles in groups and creating different planes. And so she's got people sitting, she's got people lying on the floor, which is probably not practical for you or for me, but, you know, it looks great. But, you know, she's creating these ups and downs and different planes and different angles. Not everybody is standing in a semicircle facing each other. Her body's facing off, but of course she's looking back in. Her body's facing the opposite from her. That creates some dynamic. Her body language creates dynamic. Him sitting and moving forward is creating dynamic. And as you can see, it's like we've got like these series of triangles and ups and downs that makes this more visual. So again, this is the dream. This is more of the reality. These are some lawyers, a group photo. I have to shoot these all the time, and it's always a struggle. Everyone's looking at you. What should we do? What do I do with my hands? How do we make this not look like, you know, people standing shoulder to shoulder with the grape leaf pose, which is basically when you stand with your hands in front of your legs, like a grape leaf. So what we don't want to do is do that, is having basically people with their hands in front like this. So try to keep hands in different places, draped, slightly like folded there. We've got people standing, sitting, angled different ways. Here's more reality. Unfortunately, when you're at events, this is creating this kind of dynamic is a little harder. But, you know, do the best you can. When you have control over a group, do the best you can to try to create some of this dynamic, pull chairs in, pull furniture in, do what you can there to make it a little more interesting. Events are a little harder. The best thing I can tell you for events is to fill your frame. This is a picture of two people, and that's it. Just fill the frame with these people, get in close, at the very least from the waist up. We don't need to see their whole bodies here. We just want to fill the frame, group them nicely, hands to the side type of thing. And get closer. Every time, just before you take a picture, get a little bit closer. And if you know that you really need the shot, hire a professional. I know that's not always possible, but you know, it's a good thing. So if you're planning an event, try to keep all those things in mind. What makes pictures interesting? Light, interesting things that you're thinking about visually. You just want to come at it with a visual eye. If you have control over the time of day you have the event, or if you could have it outside, if you could have it inside and outside, so you've got some options there. Can you choose the room? Can you choose the brightest room? Can you choose the room with the most windows? If you have a speaker, can you light the speaker? You have a podium that they're standing up on to sort of get them above everybody else. Can you light them from the podium? So here's an example of an event I shot at the OSU airport. So they were doing a groundbreaking. It's a beautiful morning, maybe 10 a.m. I go to an airport hangar. I'm like, this is great. There's airplanes everywhere. I walk in the airplane hangar, and then this is the setup for the event, which, you know, there's a lot of good things about this. They've got balloons. They've got signs. They've thought to do this trough of dirt for a shovel picture. But look where they've placed the stage, in front of this giant, open, very bright, it's an airplane hangar, so it's just a giant door, basically. So for me as a photographer, I walk into this event and have a panic attack because anybody you put in front of this podium is going to be incredibly backlit with all of this light. And it's basically anyone who holds up their cell phone or any camera you pick up to that scene, it's going to read this giant bright light and just kill your exposure. So, you know, it's a matter of thinking things through visually when you have the opportunity. So, like I said, a lot of good things here. They've got signs on each side. They've got the balloons, and you know, I absolutely know what they were thinking. It's like, what a great scene to set. You're looking out onto this airport. You've got airplanes, a blue sky. But any person who held up their cell phone in this event basically got a blown out picture and dark figures. And so that really hurts your pictures from the event. It's so bright, like people are all squinting. You know, we've got sunglasses on still in the back here. And so for me, it's just an absolute nightmare of trying to take pictures at this event. So you end up off to the sides trying to take pictures, and then basically I had to blast the flash in there to try to compete with the giant bright light behind them. You know, like I said, again, a lot of things great here. These beautiful shovels, ribbons, signage, balloons, but the placement of that stage was crucial to whether or not they got a lot of social media out of that event, because a lot of people just couldn't take pictures of any of this stuff that happened in front of the podium. So keep that kind of stuff in mind. Come at it from a visual eye, and again, use light whenever you can. Can you light your speaker? This particular client has the luxury of being able to put light on the speaker, and they have uplight in the back. So when I come and take pictures of these speakers, I mean, it's not terribly exciting, but they're getting the pictures that they need because they've thought ahead of time to put light on their speaker, and that helps tremendously. So here's another airplane hangar event. I don't know how I end up in airplane hangar. So obviously everybody has got a different budget. This was obviously a large budget event, and I'm using this picture just basically to show you different little things you can do to create different little environments. So they've used like some light here. They've set up different little situations all around this room for you to be able to take pictures and to make it visually interesting. This guy rode a unicycle. There was all kinds of shenanigans and flowers and interesting food, all that stuff. And so if you're planning an event that you need to get people to for social media, and you're wanting people to Instagram the photos from your event, have something there for them to take pictures of that's interesting. There's like literally people out there who have over 10,000 followers on their Instagram account. They're considered influencers, and they get invited to events to take pictures because, you know, you're putting your event in front of potentially these 10,000 people. And so you want, I recently had to photograph an event for Instagrammers, like it was a new restaurant. They want basically these influencers here in Columbus to come and photograph the food at the event and put it on their Instagram and tag them and all that good stuff. Well, when I came in, the light was so dim, I was like, there's no way anybody can get a good picture from this. You're going to have to turn the lights up. And sure enough, they did, and it helped a lot. And I think that they got a lot more use from those pictures. And then again, if all else fails, hire a professional. So you can only get so far with cell phones and small DSLR cameras. Sometimes, you know, if you don't have the money to light your speaker, this is a really hard thing to take a picture of with a cell phone or with a small DSLR. And so the lenses I have literally let in more light and have better pictures at higher ISOs. And so I can get away with a lot more than people without that kind of equipment can. So if it's crucial and you need the pictures, hire a professional. Resources. So I compiled some resources for you here. The first guy here is Peter McKinnon, who you hopefully, I have no idea if you saw that video earlier or not, but he's got a ton of short form videos with a ton of great tips about still photography, and about short video, and they're all free. He lists in every video. He lists all the equipment he's used, where to find it, how he's used it, the whole deal, and they're really entertaining, way more entertaining than I am, and they're really well done. And I definitely suggest you look him up. If you've got a little bit of a budget, look for Creative Live. I've taken a couple of their classes. It's a little more longer form classes. These are actually really pretty good. There's all sorts of topics you can find here, and those will range anywhere from $30 to $130 depending on who it is or what it is. And if you're real fancy and you got a real big budget, check out Masterclass. They've recently, I think just last week, released an Annie Leibovitz Masterclass. If you can't tell, she's one of my favorites. Studied her for a really long time, but I'm currently watching her Masterclass, and those are a little spendy. They're really well done, really nicely done. Those are anywhere from $90 to $180, and they have a bunch of different people who speak on that. So that's really all I have. I'm going to hit escape here and get back to this little window. And hopefully there are some people out here. Okay, I can't really hear anyone, so I'm just looking at this chat. Question from a listener. What are some good hacks to make your own studio lighting to take photos in artificial light? Oh, man. Well, Windows always my favorite. It depends on what you're trying to photograph. Are you trying to photograph people? Are you trying to photograph objects? Window light, daylight is always your best option. Pretty much everything that you're taking pictures with is calibrated to daylight. And so you want to use them as much as that as you can. You can also use lamps, and you can go to the hardware store and get shop lamps. You can use that. So you have a shop lamp on one side and a white card on the other side. That's a good way to do it. So you can basically use a light on one side and reflect it back into the other side. Anything that looks good to your eye is probably going to look pretty good to your phone or to your camera. And again, use your tap feature on your light. Or on your camera, sorry. Oh, no. Let's see here. How can you get your subjects to relax to get a good photo? Chat them up. It's every time I raise the camera, people react differently. So some people love it, some people hate it. Sometimes you just got to talk them through it, try to tell some jokes. You know, sometimes it helps to show them what you're getting. Sometimes it makes it worse. Yeah, so basically if you're comfortable, they'll be comfortable. And you just sort of got to work through it and start taking the pictures. Ooh, pieces of art, those are hard. Let's see. I've told people before to try open shade. Basically, you just want a nice, even light. And you want to try to get above it and keep your camera level. If they've got glass, I know that's tough. If they're in frames and you just have to, if you can take it out of that glass, awesome. Maybe sometimes you can't, and you just need to create a soft, even light to keep it nice and even across the artwork. If it's larger, it's much harder for sure. Sometimes you've just taken them out and on whatever shady side of the building, and you kind of prop them up that way and try to fill the frame with your piece, try to get it even, and then edit as much as you can after that. Okay, great. Thanks, you guys. I'm not really great at this. I hope something in there was helpful. All right, thanks. You're being very kind. Thank you.